a high engagement because users can discover the important of HR information and complete the most common Workday tasks on Teams. Workday is a highly invested in Workday Teams app and continually delivers new capabilities, and you'll see some of that later on. I'm excited to introduce Adira, who leads the product and engineering at Workday, and Tim, who is a product manager at Workday and highly involved in the customer needs. Adira, take it away.
Thanks, Jonathan, and thanks for having us here today.
Our pleasure, thanks.
So welcome, everyone. We are very excited to be here today to talk to you about the Workday applications for Microsoft Teams and how you can empower your workers to increase productivity. Before we get started, we would like to take a moment to review our safe harbor statement, as this presentation has a number of forward-looking statements. Our vision at Workday is to create effortless employee experiences, and there are three pillars to this vision. First is Workday Engage. It's focused on transforming the employee experience holistically and to make Workday even more useful and valuable. Our goal is to simplify that frequent top tasks that users use in Workday. And we do this via navigation, search, our digital chatbot, the Workday Assistant, and design experiences that make it quick and easy for your employees to complete their tasks. Next, we need to meet people where they spend their day. And this is our vision to bring Workday everywhere for your people in the flow of work, whether it's within mobile or through Microsoft Teams, collaborative apps, or even a browser extension. We continue to explore and design Workday so that it is open and connected, creating a frictionless access and incredible ease of use. And lastly, Workday Empower, which is about providing an experience that is more tailored, personalized, and relevant to users based on their function, role, and behavior. Today, employees have access to so many applications and spend a majority of time only in a handful of them. According to Okta's Business at Work report, employees now have access to over 89 different applications at work, and that number has grown by 24% since 2016, where hybrid and remote work recently has also fueled that growth. So just take a moment and think about how disruptive and stressful it can be for your employees as they switch context between application to application, trying to get their work done. And this is where Workday for Microsoft Teams comes in. For a user who doesn't use Workday very frequently, and this is a user, your employee, who we call a casual user type. They're not a manager, they're not an HR administrator or a finance administrator. These are all the infrequent users of Workday. They probably spend a lot of time in their Microsoft Teams application. So why force them to switch to another application? They will have to sign into Workday, possibly authenticate, remember to find what they need just to get something done. What if the casual users and the managers who are busy taking care of their teams, what if all of them were able to access their top Workday tasks directly from within Microsoft Teams, where they're already spending most of their time? That's the goal of the Workday application in Teams, for these users to work more intuitively within their flow of work. Within the Workday for Teams app, users can accomplish their everyday HR and finance tasks. They can instantly get access and insights into Workday data, and they can also quickly execute on top tasks. Managers can be notified of important actions that they need to take, such as approvals, and this can be done directly from within the Teams application as well. We have seen a strong customer momentum with Workday Everywhere and now have over 600 live customers in various industries and geographies. We're also hearing back from customers that the Workday app in Teams is helping to increase productivity and that their users stay engaged with Workday from Teams app. They don't need to switch between applications just to complete common tasks, and they love this. Here are some specific customers to the health and life science industries that are using Workday app in Teams. Next, Tim is going to provide you with further details about our application and show you a demonstration of the various capabilities.
Thanks, Indira, for that overview. Really appreciate it. Hi, everyone. My name's Tim Lasher. I'm one of the product managers for Workday Everywhere. And like Indira said, I'm going to show you what the app does, what it's about, and how you can drive value. So this is our Workday for Teams app. Some people confuse it for an integration. You don't have to build anything. This is like a third-party app that you can find access to in the app source. On the right-hand side of this slide, you'll see a screenshot of what the app looks like. Don't worry, we'll hop into a demo and you'll be able to see how it feels. So we have quite a few things that bring value through this app. The first are quick actions and dashboards. So at the top, employees and managers will have access to quick actions where they can be taken right to the task or report that they're looking for. They can get information directly within Teams or be able to take an action. We also have dashboards for employees. So we have a calendar dashboard that currently shows the holidays and upcoming time off. And we plan on adding a lot more timely information to that calendar, and we'll see that in a bit. Managers also have access to the My Team dashboard, where they're able to see information about their team right within Teams, so they don't have to go navigate to Workday, so they can see their upcoming team's time off, anybody's upcoming birthday or work anniversary. And then you see that calendar on the right-hand side. Managers get access to that as well. So it's a great way if there's a busy holiday to see who has time off upcoming. We also support notifications and approvals. So for example, if you have Workday time off or Workday learning, your managers or whoever is approving those processes can get the approval notification right within the Workday for Teams app. And it's a quick, simple one-click action to approve or deny. And talking with customers, managers really love this. It saves them a lot of time just to know what's going on, what they need to approve, and we're looking to add more in the future. And then finally, those quick actions that I briefly mentioned, a lot of those are powered by our Workday Assistant chatbot that uses natural language processing. So we have over 75 HR and finance quick actions that can also be talked to through Workday Assistant in the chat tab, and we'll get to that. In the past release, this past year, we recently added over 20 new capabilities that employees and managers will have access to across learning, feedback, goals. These are automatically available, and you can easily enable them or disable them based off of your organization's preference. And so, we're adding so much to this Workday for Teams app. We're seeing a lot of value. Like Indira said, with the momentum we're getting for the number of customers, it's really our number one focus to bring the best experience we can to this app. All right, so you heard a little bit about what the app does, some of the new capabilities, but let's get a demo of visual so you can actually see how it works. So here we are in the Workday for Teams app. I'm going to look at the holidays and time off for this employee's calendar. So as you can see, let's say you had a holiday coming up and it tells you right there. Managers also have a My Team dashboard in which they have the list of their team members. You can see Beth has upcoming time off. Jacqueline has a birthday. If you wanted a more visual view of that, here's where you click the View Team Calendar, be able to get some icons and have a better representation of what's going on with your team in the upcoming month. Some of the common quick actions we have of being able to take an action. So let's say we just hopped off a Teams call and you had a great conversation with Steve. He presented to someone, and so you wanted to just say, "Hey, Steve, great job. You really did a great job on that presentation." You could easily send that feedback right here. You don't have to go to Workday, sign in, navigate to the task, and remember how to do that. So it's a great way to just take those quick actions right within Teams in your flow of work. You do have access to a lot more quick actions. Like I mentioned, over 75 of the top experiences that employees and managers need through goals, learning, recruiting, So those are based off of what products you've purchased from Workday, as well as which ones you've enabled for your organization. Another quick action that's really popular is looking up a coworker. Let's say you just joined a team or somebody just joined your team to get to know them a little bit so you can see what their role is, their upcoming skills, and who's on their team. And you can navigate to the different people on their team or their manager right within Teams. Moving over to the chat tab. So we mentioned notifications and approvals. The time off requests, those get sent right to the manager. And you can see information like how many vacation days or hours does Beth Lou have. You can view the team calendar to see, oh, Beth just requested time off. February is looking good. We don't have a lot of time off. I can easily approve that. I sent feedback to Steve. You see that notification was sent. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just take or check some time off balance right within the chat tab. So the quick actions, we notice most people use that, but you also can type and chat with Workday Assistant to view the time off balance right here.
So hey,
right, so
Tim,
that was a quick.
We actually have some questions now that we've gone through the demo. One question coming in is, will the EAs have the same access if they're currently having access to their executive Workday?
Will the EAs have access? Can you explain a little bit of who the EAs are and their current access to Workday?
So while we'll kind of get a response from that, there's also a message coming in. Another question, assuming we can turn off, are we assuming we can turn off features such as company holidays when you're kind of going over the calendar feature?
Yeah, so the quick actions, what you're seeing is really depending on what you've set up in Workday, so the domain and business process security for those that are the Workday administrators on the call, as well as what you've enabled or disabled via Workday Assistant or the specific configuration our app has. So you can really enable or disable what view you'd like and what information employees and managers can see.
Great. And one more question before you kind of move on to the next slide. In quick task, will only tasks that are appropriate be displayed for the worker? Example, not all of the employees using Workday for time off requests.
Yes, so users will only be able to have access to the quick actions and chat responses to what they have access to in Workday. So if part of your organization has time off and the other part doesn't, the part that doesn't have access wouldn't be able to take time off. They wouldn't, get time off approvals. So it's really based off of your Workday access. This is really an extension and bringing some of those experiences, the best ones, to users right in their flow of work.
Perfect. Thanks so much. We'll kind of turn it back over to you. Thanks, Tim.
Sure. Now, great questions. Keep them coming. We'll probably have some time for Q&A at the end, but we'll keep moving forward here. All right, so let's talk about some key information. What does it take to get started? What are the things you should know before you install the app? So this app is generally available. Like I said, it is an app you can find on the App Source. Your team's administrator can find and enable this. And really, it is immediate value when you do set it up. So it takes a couple of domains, and we'll get into the configuration. But once you've enabled it, especially if anybody on the call here has already enabled Workday Assistant, you're halfway there. A lot of the capabilities are powered by our Workday Assistant chatbot, and it really is easy to configure and deploy. And the most important thing is this app is free. This is no extra cost to your Workday subscription. It's just based off of your current Workday products that you own. And then it's an easy way to configure and give your employees and managers a better experience where they're spending most of their time. We get a lot of questions about security and compliance. So we have completed the publisher verification and attestation. That's available. So we have information out there about data handling, security, compliance. And we've also completed Workday compliance certifications. And in this presentation, in which you'll receive after this call, you can click on a link to go read more about Workday's public compliance certifications. Really quickly, one of the main questions we get is what type of Workday information is stored in Teams, and what type of Teams information is stored in Workday. And so For what type of Workday information is stored in Teams, you saw when I was giving feedback or looking up a coworker, those modals that pop up and the information that goes in there, that's not stored within Teams. That information is pulled, and once the modal is gone, that information is gone as well. In the chat tab, for example, I typed in view time off balance. That conversation you have with Workday Assistant is based off of your team's chat retention policy. So depending on how you have that set for your organization, that would be able to store that conversation between the user. And then what type of Teams information does Workday store? The only thing we store is when your users go to this app for the first time, they'll connect, so they'll have to sign in. We respect your multi-factor authentication, your single sign-on policy. And once they sign in once, we store that user authentication token, and we store it for a reason that we don't want people to have to wake up every morning and have to sign into Teams and then also have to sign into Workday. And so we do store that token to give the best experience, because we notice, we have data that shows that people come back every Monday is like some of our highest usage. And so people don't want to have to come back and sign in and take all that time. They just want to know what is their upcoming holidays, what their team is working on, any approvals that they need, and then they can get on with their day. When it comes to the configuration needed, and I see Indira saying, yes, there are some security domains. This is, we've shown this to customers of what it takes to configure. I think we showed a customer at one of our customer conferences at Workday Rising on a Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, they had it set up in their test environment and they were ready to go. So it really is a quick time to value, and it takes two different roles. This role might be the same person, but your Workday administrator will be the one who is setting up your Workday tenant. So they'll be setting up the few security domains that are needed in order to make sure that you can connect the app. And then we also recommend setting up a non-production environment first, connecting that to your team's environment. So the Workday administrator will be involved in that. But your team's administrator, they're very important to this process as well. They need to enable the app to be used for your organization. What a great thing is that if both of these users want to lock down who has access to it, whether you're just testing with, let's say, a group of users, or you're only opening this up for a certain part of your organization, your Workday administrator can build a user-based security group and only have a certain amount of people in that group who have access, and your team's administrator can create a third-party app permission policy and put exactly who they want to have access to the app. So with the Workday administrator configuring the Workday app and the Teams administrator configuring the app availability, the Workday administrator then will connect the two. So they'll connect the Workday tenant of their choice to the Teams environment, and then users can start connecting and using the app. All right. So that is it for Workday for Teams. Indira, are there any one or two questions before we hop into Peakon for Teams that you think would be worthwhile to talk about live?
Yes, I think there's one question on whether we need to configure anything. I believe you covered it, but just to reiterate, there are security domains that need to be set up in Workday to enable users. And if you're doing a small group testing, for example, you can set it up so that you only have a few users set up to start maybe a pilot program. Another question about accessing custom Workday reports through the app. There are a couple of tasks today that are enabled via Assistant that we allow configuration through a tenant setup page in Workday. So you can enable those, configure it to point to a custom report if you have set one up specific to the task. However, we don't have anything generic to enable any custom report today. So if there are specific types of reports you want access to see in Teams, please provide us with the feedback, because we can continue to look at what we can add to the Teams app.
Awesome. Thanks, Indira. I also see a question, the last one before we move to Peakon employee voice is it all approvals that can be done in Teams, or is it certain processes? And this is a really good question. Currently, we have a few approvals that can be done. So we have time off requests, time off corrections, and learning enrollment notifications. But right now we are in the mix of adding a lot more approvals. We've done a lot of research of what users want to be notified about, what they want to be able to approve. We'll get into the My Task Quick Actions that was just added that shows you what you have awaiting you. But we really take a lot of care to make sure we're not just porting Workday into Teams, right? So maybe you have an approval process that needs a lot more understanding of the context around it, and that's better done in Workday, right? So in the future, we're really paying attention to what are those quick actions, easily consumable within the Teams app, versus what do we need to let you know about that then you need to go into Workday to get more of a bigger picture. So we do have a product capabilities list with all of the quick actions, all of the notifications, everything the app can do today that's available, and we'll go to the resources at the end of this call. All right, Workday Peakon Employee Voice for Microsoft Teams. So we talked about how the Workday for Teams app is really about improving the employee experience and manager experience by bringing those quick access of self-service tasks and information. I think the Workday Peakon Employee Voice is really about bringing the employee's voice to the organization to listen to their employee sentiment. It's an amazing tool that captures the sentiment of users, but not only just listens to them, it helps the people leaders of the organization reskill and develop these people, as well as build specific actions that they can take to improve the overall sentiment of the organization. So employees can get surveys that they fill out. For example, that's what I do every Friday, and they are really good questions. And then I get to see in a dashboard what our people leaders are focused on. So I can see in real time what my responses and how they're going to be actioned upon by our organization. So people leaders are given a lot of tools. It's a really incredible platform. So how does that relate to Teams? Well, we actually have another Teams app called the Peakon Employee Voice for Teams. This app is generally available. It is similar to the Workday app. It is free with your Peakon subscription. So if you are a Peakon customer, this app is available to you. This is immediate value and is really easy to deploy. So if you have Workday Peakon Employee Voice now and you go to your administration panel, click on integrations, you'll see a tile there for Workday. You'll see a tile there for Microsoft Teams, and you can just connect to your Teams environment and start sending surveys. We're going to go over just some pieces of the functionality for the Peakon Employee Voice for Teams app. The first are the notifications. So we'll talk about the new surveys, what that feels like for a user, as well as what it feels like to answer surveys within the Peakon for Teams app. So this screenshot shows what a notification looks like to a user. For the Peakon Employee Voice app, they don't have to go and find the app and install it themselves. Once you install it for your organization and you send out surveys, what the Peakon app will do will send a welcome message. So it'll let users know, hey, why are we reaching out to you? We're here to send you surveys that you can then fill out for the Peakon Employee Voice. And then when a survey is sent, and you can see it at the bottom screenshot there, that is what the notification will look like. So it'll give you some details to say, hey, a survey is waiting for you, and you can start the survey with a click of a button. When you've completed the survey, it will send you a notification that just thanks you for completing the survey. And then for those that didn't fill it out, whenever you send a reminder campaign to your employees, then they'll have a start survey option again that is notified to them. So what is it like to start the survey and fill out the responses? When you click the Start Survey button, you'll get a modal that pops up within Teams. So this doesn't take you to a web browser. It keeps you within Teams. So you can just start the survey. You can start filling out the questions. A lot of the questions are, a 0 to 10 scale, or some type of comment box that allows people to give their specific feedback. And then once you're done, you are back within Teams and you can move on with your day. And so both the Workday for Teams app and the Peakon for Teams app are really great about just letting people know what needs to be done, giving them the tools and insights they need to just do it within Teams and then, continue their day. All right, that was a bit about our products. For the rest of this presentation, we're going to focus a little bit on some of the functionality we just released and where we're headed. So for those that are maybe not familiar with Workday releases, we release twice a year. And what we do is we have the 23, so the year, and then R1, which means the first part of the year, or R2, the second part. So 23 R1 was our release that was just at the beginning of March. And so here are some of the functionalities that we released for the Workday for Teams app. So for each feature that we release, and this is true going forward, anybody who is an administrator, so this won't be sent to all your users, but those who are an administrator of the Workday for Teams app will actually receive a notification right within their Workday for Teams app that lets them know, hey, a new feature is coming out for this product. Why don't you go check it out? And what you can do is then you can click the Learn More button, and it will take you to our Workday community page, where we have curated a post for you that talks about what the feature is, when it's coming, how to prepare, and how to announce it to your employees. So for example, for 23R1, this was the beginning of March. So we sent this notification out a week in advance to the administrators. It was great. We got a lot of traction, a lot of people commenting, asking for clarification. So if you're one of those ones where you're going through the What's New report in Workday and you have follow-up questions that you wish you had answers to, this is a great way to get notified about it ahead of time and then have a conversation with us on community, right, with the product team. Also, so to empower the user, we'll be introducing a new welcome message. And so this is now available with an animated GIF when someone connects for the first time. It shows them how to move in between tabs, use quick actions, and to pin the app. So we definitely recommend pinning the app, by the way. That's a great way to increase engagement for your users. This type of welcome, this animated GIF, is common among consumer apps, and we know that this is the type of experience that your employees are looking for. So these messages aren't configurable, but they are general enough in the direction that it will be relevant to all employees. I mentioned this briefly before when somebody asked about approvals, and we did release a new quick action. So to stop the fear of missing out, as they call it, so people go into Teams and Workday for Teams and they wonder what's awaiting me, right? What actions do I still need to take? So as our first iteration to stop that fear of missing out, we're adding a new quick action called My Tasks, and that will display the number of tasks awaiting you in Workday with a direct link to the My Task page. If you haven't turned on My Tasks and you're still using Inbox, it is the Inbox task. So in 23R1, we're not going to notify people at this point in time when a new task is available. We've done a lot of research and we don't want to inundate people with notifications. We've heard a lot about notification preferences. We know that people only want to know exactly what needs to be done when. So we have that calendar that we briefly talked about. How can we empower people to know what's coming so that they can make a better decision? But for 23R1, we do have that My Tasks quick action that is available. And then finally, we have the My Team dashboard and the Looking Up the Coworker, which shows the manager and their team. However, we heard from people that they really wanted to see not just their direct reports, but who else they were inheriting, as well as their contingent workers. So for 2023 R1, we added the ability for you to see now your entire reporting structure there for specifically that manager, which includes your direct reports, the people who you have managed that you've inherited that organization, as well as your contingent workers. So now you can see the complete picture, whether you're in Workday or in Workday for Teams. Okay, so that's it for 23R1. Indira, I'm going to pass it to you, and you are welcome to take us looking ahead.
Thanks, Tim. That was a great overview of our product capabilities, both for the Workday app as well as the Peakon Employee Voice app. Next, I'm going to dive into what we have planned for Workday Everywhere, looking ahead and provide you with a sneak peek of what's upcoming in our next release. Across Workday Everywhere, we have 3 investment themes. The first is designing holistic experiences for employees. So to provide more native Workday experiences, so your employees can take those quick, bite-sized, high-frequency actions directly in their flow of work. An example of what we did recently for our 23R1 release was the My Task button, the quick actions button, which brought that into the flow of work. So you could quickly look at what your list of tasks were. Next, we want to help people managers be more effective for their teams. Managers are looking to complete their workday actions, get insights about their teams without leaving their natural workspaces. So they can be more effective at supporting their teams, collaborating with their teams right where they are. And finally, we want to support administrators who deploy and configure our apps so we can provide them with more insights into the usage. So these are consistent themes across our release, and we are continuing to execute on this in future releases as well. Here are some highlights planned for our next release, which is the 2023 R2 release upcoming later this year. With so many customers and users across our platform, we continue to learn about what our user motivations are and things that can be done quickly in their flow of work. In order to support more of these native experiences with things that fit within the space, we're actively working on a new payslips quick action so your users would get highlights of their pay information directly from within Teams. So with the new view payslip action, we can surface summary information of last pay, including date, hours worked, and so on. Employees can also see when their next scheduled pay date is, and then we always provide a handy deep link into Workday so they can access the full payslips page to get more details if needed. Next, managers are going to enjoy a brand new experience with the introduction of a My Teams tab right within the Microsoft Teams app. So moving this out of the home page into the Teams tab will also introduce a whole new insights card that show key insights right from within Workday's Manager Insights Hub. Providing this richer dashboard to the managers will also give them access to insights about their team members, like who has an upcoming mandatory learning due or when the performance review period starts. We'll continue to invest in our calendar experience in Workday Everywhere. In addition to leveraging the calendar to nudge your users about important events and due dates, we'll also make the calendar interactive. So users can now click on the items and get more information and then navigate into Workday if needed. So this was just a quick sneak peek into what's ahead in our next release. We have an updated roadmap that we'll publish soon on the Workday community page, and we encourage you all to take a look. I'll now hand it back to Tim so he can review a list of resources that are available for you.
Perfect. Thanks, Indira. So just wrapping up the call, there have been a lot of questions in the chat. Indira and myself have tried to answer a few. Some of them are detailed, and that's great. So let's talk about some of the resources that we have available. All of these on our Workday community page. So if you have access to community, please navigate there. So let's just talk about some of the top resources we have and how those can help you. The first is our Workday Everywhere product user group. This is, if you can remember one resource, this is the one to go to. So you can start a topic here, have a conversation. Customers ask questions or provide ideas all the time, and it's a great way for us to get feedback and for us to clarify things for you. So here you can also see the rest of the featured links. The second one is we just had a big webinar series, a 3-part webinar series where we went over specifically how to install, configure, how to test, and successfully roll out Workday for Microsoft Teams and Peakon for Teams. We also, if you're interested in other customer testimonies, we're from Workday, but you want to hear from a customer of how they did it, we have a video where we talked with one of our customers and learned how they successfully rolled out Workday for Teams. So they talk about their installation process, what they were thinking about as they were assessing security, who they wanted to give access to. We also have announcement templates for your organization. So when you've done your testing, you're ready to roll it out, but you're wondering, how do I best communicate this? You can watch our successfully rollout video as well as use the templates provided. We have a product capabilities guide that tells you everything our app can do. So if you're wondering, maybe you saw a little bit in the demo and you weren't sure exactly which quick actions were available, this is the resource for you. Our roadmap, which we are just updating this week, so be excited. Indira just gave you a sneak peek, but if you're interested, not just 23 or 2, but where we're going in the future for the vision, definitely check out the roadmap. And then the final 2, if you're a Workday administrator, the administrator guide that you can check out to tell you exactly how to enable Workday for Teams. And then there were some questions in here, specifically the privacy and security ones. We get a lot of those. So we did build a full FAQ. So a functional one about the functionality, and then a security, privacy, and data handling one to let you know how our app interacts with Teams, what type of data is stored or not stored, how it's built. All of those questions should be available for you with these resources. And with that, thank you so much for having us. I think we can open it up for a little bit of Q&A.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Indira. That was amazing presentation. You guys nailed it. I love that resource page. So go back one more, Tim, because I think that highlighted some of the great links. So click on the links. You should be able to open up in your Teams. We'll actually be sending out the deck and the recording, so don't worry. We'll have all these things. But if you dig in on the install, config, success on the rollout, those are the great ones. As well as I know that you have a good role guide for success, right? Change management, allowing for organizations to really understand what's coming in the features and functionality. So good stuff. Are there any open questions? And if you've got a question, right, please just drop it in the chat, and Tim and Indira will answer that on the fly. So please, if you've got any questions, now is a great opportunity.
Yeah, and if you do have any follow-up questions after this call, join the Workday Everywhere product user group on community, make a post. That's a great way for us to start hearing your questions, and hopefully we can, get you to the right resources.
Yeah. Additionally, if anyone on the line has, more information or would want to know how to deploy, please reach out to your account team or to your CSM, or just dropping us a line in the chat, and we will ensure that we've got resources to help you be successful rolling out the Workday integration with Teams. So yeah, please let us know how we can help, because we've got resources to help, and we partner with our Workday, counterparts. Because most of you, if you've got Workday, you might have a CSM associated with Workday. If not, we can help make that relationship.
Tim, I think
Great.
one of the
I'm
first
going to take control back and start moving to the next. So if you didn't know, we want to get your feedback and have an opportunity to win a cool raffle. So grab your phone. I'll paste the link into the chat if you don't have your phone handy. Hit the QR code, fill out the survey, have an opportunity to win something, and let us know how we're doing, because the more we learn, the better stuff. But additionally, we've got a packed 8 more sessions this week. So opportunities to sign up right now. Please hit that like button, subscribe, join the sessions. And thank you, Sarah, for dropping the link right in. So fill out the survey, have an opportunity to win some very cool things. Random, US only. I'm sorry, we'll not be shipping international. So if you're US based, I'm sorry, please join and fill out the survey in your counterparts. I'm sorry. But yeah, please join on. We've got really exciting packed upcoming sessions throughout the week. This afternoon, great for HR and Corp Comm and learning development. Please forward these if you'd like. Just aka.ms/Teams Summit Day 1 p.m. And then you'll see the rest for additional that we've got this tomorrow for 1, 2 more on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, and 2 on Friday. The Wednesday one's looking great on deploying the new Teams Premium. And I love the Thursday where we've got some Power Automate in Teams. Any outstanding questions you see? I'm just not checking the chat. Sarah, do you see anything?
No, there's a question on all the links are leading to a sign up page. So do we sign in with our Workday account or create a new account? I would assume you're referring to the session registration, which Jonathan's mentioning. You would just put in your work email address and then an invite will be sent over to you directly so you can add it to your calendar.
Sarah, I think
Oh, is that for pertaining to another? Okay, perfect. Yeah, so the resources link.
Yeah, I think it might be a link to all our resources that are currently available in Workday community. For Workday customers, typically the folks who have access to the community pages are people who are referred to as named support contacts. So within your organization, you will need to check in with who is that named support contact. Typically, it's someone within your Workday HR administration team or within your Workday IT organization. So you will need to follow up with the respective folks so they can provide you with access and get you access to the community and the links in community.
Perfect. Thanks for the clarification. Sorry about that. So many great links out there. Hey, Jonathan, do you want to go ahead and just talk about our community so people can learn about these sessions moving forward?
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. So this is the way we do it. We're going to stay connected on the Health and Life Science Community Connection Group by joining our Viva Engage group. So click on the link and you can register or pull out your phone again, hit the QR code, register, and we do a monthly 30-minute quick snip snackable content on all types of topics around Viva and Teams apps. We highlight some great content. We did Power Automate last month. So this is the way to get engaged with myself, Sarah, and Jonathan for more content every month. So join.
Perfect.
Yeah, super easy to join and love to see the community. And then you can engage with our community, ask questions, and we're monitoring and make sure that you get information on any topic that you're thinking about across the Office 365 space for sure.
Thanks. Well, I know we still have a couple minutes left, so we're happy to address any remaining questions. If not, I think we all do appreciate everyone jumping on. We'll make sure to have that recording posted out on the Health and Life Science blog. As a reminder, we will send out an email just letting you know it's been posted. It will include not only the recording, but also the PowerPoint. So we'll kind of leave this open just for a couple more minutes to see if there's any other questions with the group. And yes, if you do have a question, put it in the chat below. I think there's someone who has a question that's trying to raise the hand. If you could put it in the chat, because we've actually disabled video and audio, we'll definitely address it.
Marty, if you could drop that in there, we would be able to have one of us answering it for you. So, good. No problem.
Well, if there's no questions, we'll give everyone time back. Thanks again, and we hope to see you for some of our other sessions this week. Thanks, Workday team. Appreciate.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you in a couple of hours for the next session.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.